All right, hi guys. Sorry if the background's a little loud, but I'm outside, and this is kind of where we're at in life. And this is not a really long notes or presentation, so hopefully it's not too obnoxious. But here we are, because this is how it's going to have to work. um, so you have a snout shell. It's literally this slide and the next slide, but I made a snout shell so that way you could get the map. So you do want to copy and paste the snout shell into your notebook. Onto page 10. All right, so we are going to start the Gunpowder empires. Particularly, I mean, the reading that you've just done has been on the Ottoman. All right, so your homework was due today by class. All right, and it was on the Ottoman. All right, so we're going to do some background today, and then we will finish up the Ottoman next class, and then we'll briefly touch on the Safavid and then the Mughal next week, and then Russia will be part of our Europe unit. Okay, so the last time we talked about Europe was that it was feudal Europe, all right? And we said that feudalism was starting to end because of our major three crises: the plague, the 100 Years' War, and that papal schism, all right? And when they transition out of the Middle Ages, we get the Renaissance and the Reformation, which takes Europe into what we call the Age of Exploration. So that's when Europe goes across the sea into the Atlantic, but it's also, they didn't just go into the Atlantic. They went around Africa, they went into Asia. So essentially in our 14, 15, and 1600s, which is at the same time as the Gunpowder empires. All right, our Gunpowder empires are really around our late 14, 1500s. All right, so at the same time as the Gunpowder empires, Western Europe are making what we call maritime empires, meaning they have their home country, France, England, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, and they are also creating colonies that are overseas. Maritime means water. So they are making maritime empires. So while Europe's doing that, the Middle East and Asia, all right, in the Middle East and Asia, sweeping land empires formed, all right? So we call them the Gunpowder empires for a couple of, basically, because they all share similar backgrounds, all right? So all of them are going to use gunpowder weapons, cannons, muskets, guns. I mean, muskets are a gun, all right? To help conquer and create these big land empires. So our main three Islamic gunpowder empires are the Ottoman, the Safavid, and the Mughal. Sometimes Russia is considered a gunpowder empire because it is a land empire. It's not a maritime empire like the rest of Europe. And Russia is unique because it's both in Europe and in Asia. So Russia's a bit of a misfit. All right, so we are going to talk about Russia when we talk about the rest of Europe during the Age of Exploration, our Age of Absolutism, and those stronger central governments. Okay, so what you should see here is, all right, the Ottoman Empire, which, hold on, let me get my pen. The Ottoman Empire is what y'all were learning about last, oops, nope. I wanted the, okay, well, whatever, it's fine. I don't have the pointer, I guess. But the Ottoman is the green, all right? So we'll notice that the Ottoman, for the most part, takes the Arabian Peninsula. The center of that is full of desert, and the bottom, it has like a lot of local tribes and groups and city-states that are just hard to conquer. So they take kind of the edges of the Arabian Peninsula that are close to water, because we're going to see, and you should have maybe read, that the Ottoman has a navy, all right? Okay. Also, the Ottoman take over Egypt. Egypt has a very profitable cotton manufacturing. I mean, manufacturing before the age of industrialization. So they manufacture it in the way that it's more handicraft, all right? It's done by personal hands. But next to India, so Egypt and India are the biggest producers of cotton and finished cotton, which we call linen. Linen is the fabric. Cotton is what the fabric is made of. So Ottoman take Egypt, of course, but they are also here in the Levant region. But this area, Over here, this used to be the Byzantine Empire. You should have read about that in your homework. So we're going to see that the Ottoman take over the Byzantine Empire. In particular, Istanbul, all right, is the Ottoman capital, but the city of Istanbul used to be Constantinople when it was underneath the Byzantine Empire. All right, so this is really that area, all right, that they first take over from the Byzantines, and then they spread out into other areas as well. Okay, they were kind of already in this area over here, and then they took over the Byzantines, and then they also spread across North Africa. All right. All right, let's do a different color. No, oh, I can reset. Reset. All right, well, it won't let me reset, so I'll just pick a different color. Let's do black. The Safavid Empire is in this region that we call Persia. All right, actually, before Iran was even called Iran, we called it Persia. All right, so the Safavid Empire is Persia. We're not going to talk about them as much. All right, but Persia is interesting because out of the three empires, the ruling elite are Shia or Shiite Muslims, where the Ottoman Empire are Sunni Muslim rulers and the Mughal Empire are Sunni Muslim rulers. So at first, this is not a huge deal, but as particularly the Ottoman Empire and the Safavid start to conflict over borders, the religious sect difference will also create more of a problem inside the Safavid Empire. All right, so the Safavid Empire takes up a lot of what is modern day Iraq. And then we have the Mughal Empire. So this is in modern day India and Pakistan. I said that really weird. Pakistan, all right? They don't ever conquer the full of India. That's hard for them to conquer this bottom portion here. All right, so the Mughal Empire is going to be unique because although it is ruled by Muslims, the majority population is not Muslim. They will be Hindu, okay? But eventually, after World War I, if any of you guys know your modern day current event histories, after, World War I, World War II, World War II. The region that used to be the Mughal Empire gets split into what we call India and Pakistan. And India today is predominantly Hindu, and Pakistan today is predominantly Muslim. So this has its roots in the fact that the Mughal Empire is really when we see the first consistent Islamic rule inside of India, or the Indian subcontinent, okay? So, yep, okay. So, that's all you have for notes today. So what you need to now do is you need to make sure you've done the attendance question, and then also do the reading and answer the 4 questions attached to the reading, all right? And you will see that on the Google site. The Google site shows you what to do. You wouldn't have found this video without the Google site. Ta-ta!